everyone. Welcome back to Habs Tonight. It's my first time on here. I'm Stefi, accompanied with Alyssa, and we want to break down the game tonight, but it's still going on, so we'll have to solve this one in shootout. Alyssa?
Yeah, hopefully the Habs can come away with the W this time in OT, right?
I mean, we're trying to break both curses tonight, so.
Yeah, including the reverse retro.
Exactly. Retro. We hate playing those jerseys. Hasn't been nice to us. But yeah, well, we can start breaking down the beginning of the game. I mean, obviously another one being solved in overtime is not ideal.
Never. Never. Yeah, trust me. I know.
Alyssa's actually a Pittsburgh fan, coming to talk Habs, which is great to have both sides.
Huge Pens fan, so I'm completely unbiased here. I was telling you earlier, I really have no preference, regardless of what went on in the bubble with Montreal, embarrassing my team. I still did not really have a preference, so I was completely really unbiased in this game.
Wow. Love to see it. Yeah, the Habs beating Pittsburgh when they probably shouldn't have been even in the qualifying rounds, but that was exciting. Definitely fun for a Habs fan.
Yeah, great for y'all. It was terrible for me.
So yeah, this game has been pretty crazy both sides. I mean, Vancouver had 2 shots in the first period, and then they just started putting them in the net. Like, I guess Price doesn't when he's standing there not playing, not getting many shots. I guess it's tougher for a goalie. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the first couple periods?
Yeah, the first period, it really seemed to me like Montreal, really controlled it. I mean, obviously, if you look at the shots on goal, you can really see that Montreal had 10 and Vancouver only had 2. So obviously, and if you look at Price, he was playing the puck a lot. So, Vancouver was trying the chip and chase because they really couldn't stay in the Habs zone in that first period very much. So it really wasn't working for them, unfortunately. And Montreal I think they came out with more energy, to be honest with you, than Vancouver did.
For sure. It definitely looked like Vancouver had played last night, which obviously we played each other, but the Habs came out stronger for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I liked what I saw in the first. Lehkonen came out like he wants to stay in the lineup. He was everywhere, jumping on every puck. I think he had a great game. He had a couple chances crashing the net too. So I think he's looking
for. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
He was in for Tyler Toffoli. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, was he in there? Tyler Toffoli is out, so hopefully, he can. Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because this is our last time playing Vancouver this year, and Toffoli is our great Vancouver crusher, right? So that was definitely tough having him. I didn't even see the injury last game. I don't know what happened.
Did they say upper body? I don't know.
I think, but I never saw a clip of what happened to him.
I didn't see it either. I know he's been great for you all this year. Definitely one of those that I'm sure Jim Benning did not want to see go because he's just been so impactful for you all, along with Josh Anderson, I think, from CBJ.
Definitely are two. Yeah, they were 2 of our best pickups. Sorry, I'm just peeking over at the shootout here.
You're good. You're good.
But no, yeah, Toffoli and Anderson have been unreal. Anderson had a couple chances tonight. Yeah, other than that, the Dano, Tatar, Gallagher line was pretty good once again. It's nice to see them back together, I guess. They're finally gelling. Gallagher's goal was definitely huge.
Oh, and, it's funny because Gallagher seemed to have a hand in, like, all of those goals in somehow, some way. And obviously he finally got his own, tally to show for it. But, yeah, that goal where he actually kept the puck in, the zone, and he was diving on the ice in desperation and keeping the puck and passing it, keeping it in the zone so that the Canadians can make a play. Without Brandon Gallagher, that play doesn't happen, that goal doesn't happen. So he was so impactful, and I think he was involved on several of those goals and making the plays happen. So it was nice to see him actually capitalize and get his own goal.
Yeah, definitely always first on the puck. You know, like he'll go into the boards hard every time. He won't miss a battle. Like he's definitely hard on line. Even after a couple goals, 2 or 3 of the goals tonight, he was getting up to join the celebration, like standing up from the ground after getting shoved to the ground, looking a little hurt. But yeah, he's definitely not afraid to go to those dirty areas.
Oh, we know he likes getting in the nitty-gritty areas for sure. I mean, you can always see him with a smile on his face, almost like he enjoys it.
Of course. I just thought Price made a pretty great save right there. But yeah.
On the shootout?
Yeah. So we're in round 5.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
We need to break the curse. But no, yeah, other than that, what do you think about Mete tonight coming in for Ouellette after being scratched on and off this season?
Yeah, I thought he was good. I believe he had at least 1 point. He was involved in at least 1 goal. And yeah, I thought he was good for the team.
Yeah, he was pressuring a lot and keeping the puck in and making the plays. He looks a lot more confident tonight than he has in past games. And I mean, that comes in the conversation with the whole, what are they going to do about Sherratt if he's going to be long-term? Are we going to trade? I know Bergevin said he doesn't want to, he said he's not planning on making trades, but like you never know with Bergevin, right? He makes trades when he says he's not going to. But I mean, if Matt can perform, then maybe we don't need a trade for Sherratt, with Sherratt being out.
I know Sherratt was so key for you all. You know, he definitely has been, and with him out, it has been a looming question, I think, for Habs fans if a trade will be made with the deadline approaching. So definitely a good thing to ponder whether or not Bergevin will pull the trigger and try and make a trade.
For sure, yeah. Sorry, all the comments are coming in. Finally, we did it. We broke both curses. Retro, OT. Feels good. We got the win. I think, yeah, it was Tatar got the winner. So that's super huge, especially coming up here with 3 games against the Oilers, 4 against Ottawa. Like the whole season in this close race is on the line, but that's huge. Happy for the team.
I feel like Ottawa is almost like Buffalo is to us in the East. You know, they're kind of those free games. Now they have been known as the pesky Sens, but you know, teams could be kind of, like you said, gauging their playoff predictability on whether or not they're versing the Senators still. So
yeah, for sure, and definitely. With other teams in the Canadian division, it seems like it's easy. I don't know why the Habs, every time against the Sens, they give us a run for our money. Like, and they play good hockey against us, and a lot of times we just can't seem to beat them. So those are going to be
Sens, yeah.
The pesky Sens, exactly. I mean, they have some goalie issues now with all the injuries. So, I mean, that's always unfortunate, but hopefully we could jump on that. I think this big win tonight will definitely send them, hopefully, in a positive direction the next couple games. But yeah, so thanks everyone for tuning in. Great win. You could use the chat, ask us questions, comments.
Definitely.
What you want to hear. Yeah. Yeah, my background's I don't know if it's blending in. The lighting looks pretty bad. I look pretty red, especially compared to Alyssa. Got to fix my camera settings, but
you don't look that bad.
Okay, yeah. So finally, the game we went. So a good stat, which I saw in the first period, which seems to hold now. The Habs are 11-0-6 when Suzuki records a point. So that's pretty. So now they're 12-0-6, which is pretty huge. Like, so Suzuki just needs to keep scoring for us. And his goal tonight, almost identical to his goal last night, was beautiful. A beautiful shot from the circle. And it's really cool to see on the power play how Suzuki's open there because of how powerful Weber is. They're cheating on Weber all power play because they don't want him to shoot. So Suzuki's right there. And I got to give it to Dano for the screen in front of Holtby there. That was a beautiful goal. And 2 identical goals 2 games apart.
As a non-Habs fan, just kind of watching this power play really for the first time all season, I did notice, and at first, not really being a usual spectator, I was kind of questioning the whole constant, consistent passing it to Weber, trying to get the slap shot, and I was kind of like, at first I was like, what are you doing? And then once Suzuki scores on the other side, it totally made sense, kind of like a diversion with that slap shot that we all know is crazy, crazy strong, crazy fast. And having Suzuki on the other side just snipe and kind of be the diversion and the distraction with the wicked wrister. I mean, it was perfect.
100%. And it was really nice to see. I feel like Suzuki might have been going through a little bit of a sophomore slump. Last game was the first goal in a while, but he got it off his back and seems to be doing really great now. So here's Aaron chiming in for you. Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Pens are awful. Pens are so bad. Okay. I don't think we've been that bad recently, but okay. We're top 3 in our division.
But what you were saying about Weber is totally right. And sometimes I get frustrated because they give it to him all the time and he can't get the shot off, or sometimes he's not shooting and it's like, just shoot, just get it to them every time. Like,
yeah.
I was surprised to see Edler come back after last game. He took a Shea Weber slapper like off his hand, I think, and he looked in bad shape, but he was back. So yeah, it looked good. The power was finally coming together with the new coaches.
Yeah, I thought it was good for sure.
There's a comment for you.
How can we change your alliance to be a Habs fan?
She's a part of Habs tonight now, so she's got to be some kind of a Habs fan,
I feel like I'm eventually going to kind of sort of like the Habs more because of this. Okay, yes. I went in, I was telling her the Calgary Flames are my favorite Canadian team, but, it all could change. Who knows? Who knows? I do really like Brendan Gallagher, as I was telling her, as well as I already mentioned. He reminds me a little bit of Brandon Tanev. We call him Turbo in Pittsburgh because he's just so full of energy and able to get into those nitty-gritty areas, get his nose a little dirty. He doesn't mind that. Just a big worker bee on the team. So I would love to have Brendan Gallagher, but obviously he's a Canadian. So.
I have to say, I loved his celly tonight. He was so mad. It was a great shot, and then he just didn't smile. He was just angry, but it was perfect. I love that stuff.
The play reminded me a lot of an easy play. Anyone that plays NHL 21 that I've done on Hut so many times. The quick draw. You win the face-off, you get it back to another guy that can take the quick snipe. And, obviously in that goal, they completely surprised Vancouver. It was so quick. They couldn't get set up to defend. So it was just easy goal.
It was a great face-off win by Dano. He's definitely stepped it up in the last couple of games. And I'm actually curious, what are your thoughts on Romanov? I'd say Romanov. They say Romanov. I love him. He's a great player. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I haven't seen a lot of his play, so this is the first game that I really watched him play. I'm going to have to try and study up on him more, but I did not really know that name until this season. Is he a new addition on your roster?
Definitely a very young guy, actually. Funny or not so funny story was we traded Dale Weiss for Dano and our second rounder, which became Romanov. So basically we got rid of Weiss for him. So, I mean, a little bit of a touchy subject around this team, but no, so far. And he seems to be growing confidence each game. And he's looking really great.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had no complaints. I thought he looked good from what I saw, but yeah, definitely going to be paying more attention to him. He's kind of a new player per se on my radar.
Here's a question. What do you think? Will Petrie win the Norris?
What do you think as a Canadiens fan?
I mean, obviously I'm biased and I'd love to see it. I love Jeff Petrie. I find he's amazing, and this season he's been, he was leading the league in goals. Like, I love him. So I biasly think I want him to win. I mean, there's Hedman, there's so many great players. So, I mean, yeah, probably not. But I mean, because a lot of people seem to say the Canadian division is the easiest division. So,
Yeah, I mean, I know other Habs fans. I'll do a plug for Post to Post. Huge Habs fan, love his channel, love his work. But he was going through each player that he thought had been the best this season, and Petrie was at the top of his list as well as being the most impactful player. And yeah, I could definitely see that possibility with Petrie. But obviously, you do have the Northern Division, which I do believe has been kind of the equivalent this season to 80s hockey with the high scoring. Usually, it's never a 1-2 game. Usually, you at least have three, 3-3, 3-4, whatever. There's tons of goals on the board, so it's crazy, but it's so exciting, and so many people are loving it.
I totally agree. And I'm wondering, is that a factor because so many teams are adopting the dual goalie like strategy in this shortened season? Like our goalies play kind of even. I mean, hasn't been the case for Vancouver lately with Demko being the best by far. But do you think there's more goals because there's more like Jake Allen versus Carey Price? There's more teams using their backups more often?
You're talking about in the Canadian division alone?
No, like even in the other divisions.
I would say yes, but I'd also say that it would be because to the 56-game season. So this season, I always thought going in when I made my predictions, I was kind of, looking as a hockey fan to the teams that had the best goalie tandem. So, initially I thought of Dallas, obviously Ben Bishop's injured. I thought of Boston, obviously that's a go-to. And I thought of Montreal. I had Montreal finishing second in the division for my predictions because, like you said, Carey Price and Jake Allen, great tandem. So I think this season in particular, it's been very important to have the backups that are able to play for you with so many games that are, tight together. I mean, for instance, tonight was a back-to-back for you all. So very important to have two goalies in the mix that can play for you and be relied upon.
100%, yeah. Definitely it's different than what we've seen. Like as Habs fans, it's always just been Carey Price with our backup playing very rarely, but we definitely needed it this season with the tight schedule, and Jake Allen's done an amazing job. I'm looking at other questions. Wait, sorry about that. Okay, I mean, we kind of touched on this, but what do you think the Habs need to make any moves before the deadline for them to make a run?
Do I think that?
Because you were talking, you love the trade deadline coming up.
I gave myself away. Okay. So obviously there is the Ben Sherratt issue. Now I believe just inform me, which side is he playing? Is he left or right?
Right, I think.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to double check that, but
okay.
Comments can just confirm. Because yeah, Weber's left, and he was playing with Weber.
Okay.
I might be opposite.
So here's one thing. I know Bergevin, might not want to commit to a guy long term. Now obviously everyone is after Matthias Ekholm. Everyone. That he's going to be the top guy as far as, well, maybe overall, but out of defensemen on the trade board right now. But a guy that you wouldn't really have to take tons of risk on because he's a pending UFA is Alex Goligoski. And a good thing about him is he can play either side. He's multifaceted. Now, if he's playing with Weber, see, that's the thing. I don't know if he would fit as well because I think Weber is more of a defensive defenseman, correct? Is he not super offensive?
Yeah, he doesn't go up that often. He's more, definitely defenseman, stay-at-home defenseman.
Okay, so you do have the Matthias Ekholm option. he is a little bit more offensive. He's going to give you more of a balanced play overall. There's that. I think there might be one more out there that I am. Oh, David Savard, but he is also very defensive. So I think that they do need an offensive defenseman probably to complement him. If they can find one that is on the trade board that a GM is willing to give up from what you're saying. So yeah, if they're worried about Ben Sherrod there, which I believe did he injure his hand in a fight? That's what I heard.
Yeah, he punched
right. Okay.
helmet. He got surgery. He's out long term. We don't know how long term. But yeah, it wasn't great. And I mean, that's what we're going to see coming up in these last couple weeks of games here. There's going to be lots of injuries, and that's what kind of makes it's going to be so close. Like, I know you were mentioning your predictions for the Canadian division, but even the Leafs are catchable. Like, anything could happen.
Oh yeah, they've been having that recent skid, and I mean, obviously being in Toronto, it's all you hear. I watch TSN on a daily basis, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? The Leafs have lost X amount of games. Oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely maybe time to panic. I don't know if panic that much, but I mean, obviously you do have Montreal chomping at the bit. Probably not Vancouver, but Edmonton's definitely in the mix for that number one spot. So we'll definitely see.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Edmonton, yeah, so the next 3 games are going to be huge for us, but, well, yeah, here's a good question. I don't know if you know the whole backstory on Dano. Do you think he'll re-sign? Because he's coming to the end of his deal, and he reportedly turned down a pretty good deal with the Habs because he wanted more money or more years. And then it took him a long time to score his first goal this season, but he's definitely come out of it and has been playing really great. But yeah, do you think Dano would re-sign with us?
Honestly, I do not know. That's gonna be one that I'm kind of gonna, I guess, default to you a little bit.
No worries.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't know the Pens. In my opinion, no, I don't know if he'll get offered anything that he wants. I think he kind of missed. He should have accepted the offer that was given. I mean, that was all reports. I don't know the whole story, but good question, Mac. Thanks for joining on tonight. Sign Cole Caulfield. Well, have you heard about Cole Caulfield much?
Yes, he's a big prospect for you all. Great defenseman. Now, I don't know. Was he ever? Did he ever go to Minnesota as a draft pick, or was that a thing?
Oh no, Cole Caulfield, he's still in NCAA.
Yeah. I didn't know if any other team ever had him as a draft pick, but I'm trying to remember.
No, I think we just picked him as our first.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but no, it'd be cool to see him come in, but I think Brandon was talking about this on the other show. Like, for him to come from college right to the NHL, and he's a small guy, like that might be a really big step. But obviously be fun to see. This question about Lehkonen, we kind of touched on it before, but I thought Lehkonen was great tonight. He looked like a guy who hadn't been sitting for as many games as he had. He's definitely trying to keep his spot in the lineup. I mean, obviously I don't want Toffoli out too long term, but I think Lehkonen earned his spot in the lineup, and I think someone else should sit out if Toffoli comes back, personally.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I think the Habs really deserved to win this game overall. Vancouver, I mean, they obviously gave them a run for their money, but at the end, I mean, it really looked like the Habs were the better team tonight. And they really deserved the win. I mean, in my opinion, I think they controlled the game, which was kind of dictated a lot by special teams. But yeah, I thought the Habs definitely controlled the game.
Yeah, it got a little scary there at the beginning of the second when Vancouver came with 2 quick goals, out of nowhere.
They had momentum there. They did, yeah.
Coming out of nowhere after having 2 shots in the first, but it was definitely an exciting game, and it's kind of sad that we're not playing Vancouver again in the regular season. I like playing against them, but no, I'm excited. that we finally won in the retros and won in overtime shootout. Sorry, I'm just looking through all the questions. Was there any other points? I mean, yeah, you were comparing. Did Pittsburgh play tonight? Yeah, they didn't.
They played this morning, which I will be honest with you. On a Saturday, I was not up for the 1 p.m. game, so I did not see it. But I know that Pittsburgh won,
Okay,
so that's the key.
it was against the Preds, right?
It was against the New Jersey Devils.
Oh my God. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Preds, they take me back to the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. Victory for us. So that's what I always think about.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Preds fans.
I like this question. Do you guys think Gally should be the captain of the Habs? This girl does. Thanks, Jen. I mean, I'll let you go first. What do you think?
So, I do these videos. If you know anything about me, I'm a YouTuber. I've got 60,000 subscribers. Super blessed. But anyways, I have made videos before about players that I thought should be captain before every season. So if a guy moves on or retires, who's going to take his place? And definitely, whenever Shea Weber gets to that point and he's ready to retire or moves to another team, I'm not sure what will happen, but I really do believe that Brendan Gallagher is the guy. And I'll tell you why he's the guy. Usually, when you pick a captain, you're going to want to pick a captain that is going to set an example for the players, a guy that works hard. He's not afraid to get in those dirty areas. He's not afraid to stand up for his teammates. And I think, in my opinion, I think Brendan Gallagher checks all those boxes and more. I think if there was one player, maybe aside from Carey Price, that you would take out of the lineup and it would just have the most detrimental effect on the Habs, it would be Brendan Gallagher for how hard he works. So, yeah, that's why I, in my personal opinion, believe that Brendan Gallagher deserves the captaincy whenever that point in time comes, whenever Weber steps aside, retires, or what have you.
I mean, as a Habs fan, that couldn't have been a better answer. I love that answer. Gallagher's been my favorite player since he took number 11, just based on the fact that Saku Koivu was my favorite player before. And yeah, even when Pacioretty was gone, Weber was still kind of new. I knew he was a great captain and would be a great captain, but with a soft spot for Gally, I was hoping it would be him. Start him early as captain, but no, Shea Weber's been great. And yeah, when the time comes, I do think that Gally should be the next captain. Sorry, go ahead.
Curious question for you. So I did not ever ask you this, but I being in the States, I've been to Canada one time in my life, but I haven't really frequented Canada. Curious, I know Gallagher actually had his own burger, and you were saying that he is your favorite player at one point at McDonald's. He had a commercial for it. Did you ever know about that burger, and did you ever try that burger? I'm just curious.
That's a good question. Yeah. I think that was 2016.
Okay.
And that burger came out a couple weeks before my birthday, and I was so pumped, and I said, that's what we're having for my birthday dinner. So yeah, we had that Gallagher burger, and it was
it really good? It was good?
I enjoyed it. And I mean, people think I'm weird. I don't like bacon, and there was bacon, and I'm like, oh, it's Gallagher, so I have to eat the bacon.
Not Canadian bacon, regular bacon?
I don't like either.
Okay.
But yeah, good question. Definitely an exciting. I mean, I shouldn't have been that excited for a burger, but for sure, it was a funny commercial, and they made a couple. I think Drouin had one, Petrie had one.
I think Gally had one, or Galchenyuk. It's Gallagher, Galchenyuk.
Had it, yeah. I think he had one too. But no, yeah, those were always super fun. Sorry, I saw a good question before. Okay, this is a good out of division question. Do you think the Habs are going to have to beat the Sabres? Yes. I mean, Yes. But thanks, Mac. Good question.
So I almost put. I just want to say this on Twitter. Yeah, I retweeted the Jack Edwards. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but yeah, about the team. I don't want to be negative or anything, but I retweeted what he said, and I said that I was laughing with remorse for the team, but I really hope that team gets back together. The fan base in Buffalo, they really deserve something good. Shout out to Melody Martin. She's the biggest Buffalo Sabres fan I know. Check out her channel. Another female hockey YouTuber. But yeah, it's crazy what's happening in Buffalo. But yeah, well, do you think the Habs could beat them or no?
I think this could beat them at this point. But no, I like them. They're just going through it a bit right now.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of touched on this before, but since I am biased and try to defend the Canadian division, do you think that the North is the easiest division by far?
I think so, in my opinion, yes. Now, obviously, there are several different opinions, but if you do look at the goals against average per game in the North Division, comparatively to like other divisions, it's crazy. There's just so much of a difference. It's almost, I mean, I've made videos before, and I've almost kind of humorously said the North Division is in their own entity, as in they're kind of like, away from the other divisions. So yeah, I definitely think that, I mean, unfortunately, they're the easiest division. And it goes in part with just, I think, struggling teams and other teams being able to capitalize on them. If you even look at the Northern Division statistics, for instance, it's the most tightest division, as in, like, literally there's a news story every week. I think it was a funny tweet I saw on Twitter. Someone called it the NHL's soap opera of a division, as in there's always a new story every week. There's always something, the Leafs are bad. The Canadians, or the Canucks are making a comeback. There's always something different every week. So I think for that reason, yes, I do. And that's a topic of conversation a lot. Could the Leafs compete, with a Tampa, with a Boston, with those types of teams? Could they beat them? And I think that's a really big question, that's been looming around for a while.
Very good answer. And okay, so I'm not sure if this is a good question too. So when we fired Julian, do you think it was sudden? Do you think it was because that goal didn't count against Ottawa when it should have?
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because Ottawa is just like, it's become the joke. Like, if you lose to Ottawa, your coach is gone. Like, this has been kind of the Twitter joke.
I like asking you. I like getting the outside perspective because I'm obviously biased, but like.
Well, actually, yeah, this is a really interesting question. I really like it because me being a Pittsburgh fan is actually kind of, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Okay. Look behind me. I have an autographed plaque of Fleury. Okay. I love Marc-Andre Fleury. He was amazing in Pittsburgh. Okay. And obviously Murray took over his spot. So I am kind of biased in that way, not because I'm a Canadiens fan, but because of that way. But I'm just going to say, watching Murray for so long in Pittsburgh, I will tell you that when I saw that initial clip with Murray being barely touched and he spins around, when you notice he spun around, I initially thought to myself, like, right off the bat, oh my gosh, I've seen that move before. Like, it's happened before, and whether or not it's intentional or what, I've seen it, and maybe there's going to be all kinds of opinions, but from an unbiased perspective, I'm kind of biased. I do think that that was made on purpose. My opinion.
No, yeah, for sure. And just to add, Bergevin says Julian would have been fired regardless of that play. Would it have been that same night? Who knows? But yeah, good question. Thanks, Jacob.
I watched that shootout too. And Obviously, it was a really, I'm a person that some people are impartial about the shootouts. They're like, oh, I don't know. Some people are opinionated, whether they hate them or they like them. I really like shootouts. It's, it may sound kind of silly, but that shootout was very exciting. But being unbiased, I really felt bad for the Canadians because, like I said, I really felt like they should have won that game. I didn't think it was fair. I believe we were talking about Brendan Gallagher earlier being our favorite player. He was one of those that was just literally just shaking his head, right? He was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like he literally was just, he couldn't hold it in. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And like rightly so. Like being biased, I didn't enjoy the shootout at all because I was just so frustrated about that
Yeah,
call or
I could see it.
non-call. But it happens. It's a lot of. I was watching Sportsnet, like one of between the intermissions. I forget who said it, but they're like, I don't even know what a penalty is anymore. It's getting a bit like, it's hard to tell, with the way the refs are calling stuff.
I feel like, being an outside spectator, I have people, I have friends that are Canadians that are fans, that are watching the North Division a lot. And I see, in my opinion, I mean, I know, it's supposed to be positive on this channel, but I would just say that from my opinion, I feel like the officiating could be better. It could be better in that division particularly, because you just see things happening very frequently that I feel like should be called, or just calls that are not made efficiently or correctly, in my opinion.
Yeah, very fair. Okay, this is a good question for league wide. Who's more deserving of the Hart, Kane or McDavid?
I love this question. You can go first if you want.
um, I mean, I have to go with McDavid. Kane's been unreal and he just had his big milestone game there, but like you can't beat McDavid. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. What about you?
Okay. Well, this might be the first time we disagree, but I will say that I think it's very tight. I think that the talent that Kane has around him is just it's not that great. I mean, DeBrincat had a slump. I think maybe he's starting to make a comeback, but he's been playing with like a lot of younger players and like a lot of some rookies. And I think just watching him in the way that he's been able to kind of carry his team, because I mean, me personally, like I didn't know if the Oilers were going to make the playoffs, but I think that like I saw them being less likely, or I mean, more likely to make the playoffs than the Blackhawks. I told you I did predictions. I had the Blackhawks literally at the bottom of the division. Now, one of the reasons was because of their goaltending. They found a guy that kind of came out of nowhere. His name escapes me. It's foreign. But I didn't see Delia and Subban being able to really efficiently goaltend, maybe like would be able to lift them into a playoff picture. I saw both of them as great goaltenders. I just thought, they're more of a backup kind of option. So I did not see the Blackhawks even in a playoff, picture. So the fact that Patrick Kane has just elevated his game so much and he's just been so valuable to his team has made me. I mean, I know I'm American, so I might sound a little biased, but yeah, I definitely have to choose him now. Obviously, I mean, if you watch McDavid, I mean, it's unreal. Like some of the things they call him the cheat code, the human cheat code, because he's so good at his speed and making efficient plays all the time. But I don't know. I do think that he does have Draisaitl there, and I mean Draisaitl he scored at least 40 goals last season. So he has been playing on McDavid's line, and obviously that power play. If you look at McDavid's stats, at least half of his points come from the power play alone, and Draisaitl is on that power play. So I mean, thinking about that and like how Kane's been able to do what he's done at like even strength, kind of makes me want to kind of give this small edge to Patrick Kane.
No, it's definitely close. Like there's no one's gonna run away with it. So
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It's always close, right?
yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, there weren't many. I can't think of many other points to the Habs Canucks game tonight. I mean, they both played last night. They were both tired, but it was a good game and we finally won. So yeah, these are good questions, guys. Thanks a lot. So we'll keep going through this for a bit, and then. So, what do you think a 3-on-3 overtime shootout system that the league uses? Is this the best way to end a hockey game? Personally, yeah, like, I mean, I love when it gets to playoffs and you finish a game in 5-on-5 until someone scores. But my dad would say I miss when games would end in a tie, which fair. But I like the 3-on-3. I mean, not as a Habs fan, right? I mean, yeah, this season I haven't liked it as a Habs fan, but you really see the skill set that each, like all the star players have. And it's really exciting to watch 3-on-3. It's just a completely different hockey game. And so much more can happen. And it's fluky. And you miss a breakaway one way, they come back and score. So much can happen. And I think for what they have to give a team a W, then yeah, I do think I like it. What about you?
So I do like the shootout. I still like the shootout, but I mean, I enjoy it when it happens. But I mean, obviously, like the 3-on-3, it is just amazing hockey to watch because I mean, it almost makes me think of like Russian roulette because it's like you really don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I mean, one team's obviously probably gonna score, but there's just so lesser of coverage either way that, like you were saying, it's so easy to just get a breakaway or miss on a 3-on-0. Yeah, as a Pittsburgh fan, that one kind of hurts.
So from Sarah thinks that Corey Perry was an interesting choice for the shootout. Yeah, I mean, personally, I love seeing Corey Perry in the shootout. He's been a great addition this season. I've loved watching him play. I wasn't expecting much. I mean, having him on the taxi squad at the beginning, but since he's come into the lineup, I don't know. I love watching him play, and it looks like he's going in slow motion sometimes, and it looks like he's barely out of breath, and he just dekes past everyone and shoots and scores. So it's really fun to watch, and I'm glad he was able to score and shoot out tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought what I saw of it, I thought he looked good. It was funny because I remember him being on the taxi squad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Thorne is back! Like there he is! Like he's back. Okay. So yeah, I think he's been really impactful for you all for sure. Obviously he was a thorn in Pittsburgh's side for a while. I don't know. He was
Yeah.
so good at being a thorn in every team side.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, very good. I'm very good at it, getting under players' skin and getting in front of that net, being that net front presence. He's definitely good at it for sure.
I always think back to the walk of shame after the Winter Classic against no, when he was with Dallas, he had to walk that whole lane. That was too funny, but yeah,
I love how the YouTube videos, like you can go on there and there's just so many different like music choices that like people put to that walk of shame. Like you can just go down the rabbit hole and it's just so amusing.
Okay, so here, this goes back to what we were just talking about, the shootout. What do you think of a 4v4 format for 5 minutes and then 3v3 until someone scores? Get rid of the shootout. I know you're a shootout fan. This is interesting. I wouldn't be opposed for sure.
I wouldn't either.
But like it comes to a point where some games no one will score, and I mean, I know it's a lot easier to score in 3-on-3, but yeah, no, I honestly wouldn't be opposed. That's a good point. Thanks, Wendy, for tuning in.
I think the broadcast, like also you have to think of like probably like the broadcast networks maybe like wouldn't like that either. I don't know if that plays a factor, but like not knowing, like the schedule of things and how long a game could take, that might be kind of a factor in maybe that decision. I'm not sure, but it would make sense. I remember a game, for instance, being a Penguins fan in the playoffs, a game Pascal Dupuis actually had one of his jerseys, actually scored the overtime goal in the playoffs. And it was literally at like 2 a.m. So like these games can go on forever. Like, I mean, we saw that with what was it? Columbus last year,
That's crazy.
literally going forever, like 5 OT periods.
Yeah, and that's the one problem in a regular season. If we had examples like yesterday and today, if they're back-to-back games and you go 5 OTs, then it comes a point where it's a bit undoable.
Taxing on the players for sure.
Especially in the shortened season, if they're supposed to play extra.
Oh
And
yeah.
every second day or yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's true. Someone just said Carey Price. Oh, a Carey Price fan. I read Carey Price subbed. I was like, okay. Thanks, Dale. Everyone who's watching, make sure to tune in on next Wednesday night. Brandon Press will be on, so you can jump on and ask Weiss and Press questions. That'll definitely be a fun show about all the times they played together.
I'm anxious to hear, and I know like just from Prust and like probably like Dale too, because I know he played in Vancouver, what it was like for them to play for Torts. I know this is kind of random, but like I don't know, being I have a bachelor's in psychology, so I studied psychology, and I'm just like so curious, getting in Torts' head, like he's an enigma, he's so interesting. It's like, man, like what is this guy really like? We just see these press conferences from the media, and we see this guy, kind of lashing out, but it's like, what is he like behind closed doors? I'd like to kind of get a feel for that.
There you have it. Weiss will be all over that. But yeah, for sure. And I would, yeah, every Torts clip I've seen is you want to watch more. Like it's so interesting.
Oh yeah, it's captivating. My mom humorously, she calls him tortellini, but yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well that's great. Is there any more questions? I'm trying to get to a lot of them. Yeah, we won't keep you guys for more than an hour here. Thank you so much all for tuning in. This has been super fun. Alyssa, do you have any more concluding points, I guess, about the Canucks? Habs finally winning in shootout?
I guess, it's just glad, for Habs fans, they just have to be glad for breaking that reverse retro jersey curse finally. It's probably great. And also, I did not say this, but man, those unis, seeing those in person, those I kind of lowballed those. Those are pretty jerseys. Yeah,
we love the
I like
jersey,
them.
but there was just we hated playing in them. Like they're beautiful and they look great playing in them, but we just couldn't win. So
Trust me, I know this. Pittsburgh had this, and the jersey it's not like this situation where it's kind of it looks good, but these jerseys were literally atrocious. I don't know if you remember the Stadium Series that Pittsburgh played against Philadelphia, but their last Stadium Series jersey, it was literally like screen printed logo, and it was just like a mustard, like kind of yellow on black. And like ever since like we wore those jerseys, we could not win a freaking game. So I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes there's just a curse around a certain jersey, but this one's been broken. So for you all,
we needed the cursed jersey with the cursed overtime shootout, and whatever two negatives make a positive, right?
Yeah.
So Alex just asked when Dale Weiss is gonna talk to press. So next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Tune in. I think we're calling it Weissy Wednesdays. And yeah, press will be on the show. You could even email and get a chance to come on live and ask questions to Dale or Brandon. So definitely get ready for that. Subscribe to our channel so you're notified when we get and follow us on all social medias. That would be very great. But no, thanks everyone so much for tuning in. This has been super fun. And yeah, tune in on Wednesday.
See ya.
Okay, great. Bye, guys.